it could never have accreted to begin with. But here's an example. You mentioned Uranus. It rotates on its side. All the planets in our solar system kind of have a flattish orbit in this relation to the Earth. They like tops spinning on a table. Kind of the same, right? But now imagine you take one of those tops and you stop it and you set it on its side, and then you start it spinning again. Huh? How does that work? If there was an accretion disk, this couldn't be so. It wouldn't be.
Oh, for pity's sake, what an utter plank. After the accretion disk forms, other events can and do happen. Besides, how does any of this junk disprove biological evolution, or prove gods, goddesses, or whatever?
In fact, Uranus's moons rotate at a 90-degree angle from its rotational axis, which is also insane and completely unexplainable. Now, to explain that, of course, the evolutionist says, well, it was struck by a meteor which rotated the planet on its side. Well, if that were true, we would have evidence of that.
Right.
God, what a thickie. Why should whatever object, and don't assume it was a meteorite, still be around? How do you know it wasn't a comet? They're still around.
There is no evidence that it's been hit. They make it up as they go along.
Make it up as they go along? Excuse me, Shock, what I joke.
They do. It's one of the roundest planets in the solar system. There is no sign that it ever took some massive impact. In fact, had it received such a massive impact, it probably would have split the planet into pieces.
Yeah.
Now, with the small rocky core, Uranus is mainly gaseous. Yes. Besides, you're strawmanning that the object actually hit Uranus. It wouldn't have to hit, but merely pass by to have an effect. We just don't know, do we? Just like the moon has an effect on us on a smaller scale. You really are making this stuff up as you go along, aren't you? Don't you research anything?
But this accretion disk thing is completely impossible because Uranus rotates on its side. It's not possible.
Oh, I've already told you that events can happen after the formation of the solar system. Christ, your hard work.
So they'll say, well, Uranus was captured. Oh, really? No, I don't think so. Because if you took a refrigerator and you put 1,000,000 pounds of gunpowder behind it and you shot it out into the solar system and you pointed it almost dead at Mars, it would go right past Mars. It would get pulled toward Mars and slingshot around Mars. But unless you pointed it, almost dead at Mars, it's not going to hit Mars.
Neph states the bleeding obvious here and somehow contrives this as supporting his view. But tell me, Nephi, why a fridge and full of explosives at that?
If you pointed it somewhat off to the side, it's going to accelerate towards Mars, and then it's going to slow down as and decelerate as it leaves. We don't observe things being captured, and this is how they use satellites to make photographs of Mars and planets, because they slingshot them right around the planet.
They slingshot them? Who are they, Neph? Would they be all the young Earth creationists, the lifeblood of NASA?
Itself. And because planets just don't capture things like that. They might capture small meteorites moving at slow speeds that are pointing almost dead at the Earth. But they don't capture things. And capturing a planet is completely ridiculous. Its mass is so great, it would just go right off into space. In fact, you'll see...
And the scientific paper that references that statement is...
In one of my videos on my channel, the dark matter excuse, I believe it was, where secular astronomers themselves admit that there simply isn't enough matter and gravity in our solar system for it to stay together. The planets should just go.
Neph, I am sorry to break this to you, but every astronomer will tell you it is gravity. That's why Newton's universal laws of gravity work. That is why we can predict the motion of the planets. That is why NASA could successfully predict the optimum alignment for the Voyager probes, which, by the way, disproves your geocentrist nonsense at a stroke. Unless, of course, NASA are merely extremely lucky.
Off into space. They cannot find a mathematical reason why they should be there. There's not enough gravity. Now, that's completely astounding thing to hear someone say, but they admit it themselves. That's why they espouse that dark matter did it. You see, oh, dark matter, we can't detect it, but that's it. It works for me. You know.
God, a comedian as well. You got it all, Sporty.
And they do the same thing with galaxies. Galaxies should not be in their orbit the way they work on. The outside of one spins 10 times too fast for it to operate the way secular theory would have it. So, you say, yeah, it's just it's crazy how much science has caught up with it, and the public is really waking up to it. But this,
it's crazy how every unknown is deemed as God done it, until the answers are found, of course, consigning the God done it's to the trash bin.
This accretion disk can't be possible. The planets don't always. One of the planets, can't remember which one, doesn't even...
That'll be Uranus, Neph. Hell, you were only gassing on about that a minute ago.
...and rotate in the same direction as all the rest. How's that possible?
Right.
There's an accretion disk. What?
It's like...
Oh.
It's like, yeah, Shock, you're right. It's like one day Neph might even learn some science.